Welcome back, everyone. So hope you have a nice break with some networking and you actually managed to meet somebody new in this competition. So before we start this, first of all, we would like to say that we saw your messages on Discord regarding some of the missed deadlines for submission and some teams that did not manage to submit. We already discussed this amongst the organizers, and we will announce what we decided from this discussion at the end of the session. So for now, I just would like you to invite, relax a bit, enjoy the session, try to understand what is going to be the next challenge. And then at the end of this session, we will deal with all these questions that you have, all right? Well, we are already here, starting stage 2. So hope it's going to be time to shift a bit gears and start kicking off again new challenges. But before we start, we have a couple of announcements and a couple of reminders that we would like to do. Well, first of all, this is how stage 2 will look like. So now we're in this opening session and we'll have soon a roundtable as well. And where we will get to know a bit the topic. And from there on, you can start working on the challenges. On Wednesday, and this is an important thing that's changed since last time we talked, it's that the workshop changed from Monday to Wednesday. It's going to be a workshop on time series forecasting by Oracle. So I think this already gives you a small insights of what are going to be the challenges for this stage, without giving too many spoilers, I hope. And then on next Saturday, we're going to have another live session where we will just, like I said before, have a lightning round session with some jury and mentors just to talk about how the first stage went. And then we will know who won the activities and who won the first stage. And then on Sunday, we have an extra activity. And of course, this is completely optional, where we could have a small quiz. It's going to be about pop culture and everything else, but I won't spoil that. We will have Maggie who will tell us all about it in a bit, which is just right now.
Yeah, thank you, Leon. As Leon said, we have a live activity. This stage, the quiz time, is happening on the 25th of April from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. GMT +1 time. So basically, you are playing as a team, and your team is going to be tested about trivia, pop culture, TV, movies, you name it, everything is going to be here. Get ready, and we hope to see you there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Just a couple of real quick reminders. One is about mentoring. So the mentoring is currently happening on World Data Lead on WDL mentoring channel on Discord. So if you have any general question, technical question that you would like to ask, I don't know, how do I visualize a heat map on a map on a geographical map, for example? This is the perfect channel to ask that. There is a spreadsheet which you can find all the mentors and all the skills and when they're available to answer questions. And feel free to reach out to them. You can also book one-to-one mentoring sessions. So in the last 2 weeks, we had 20 mentoring sessions. Still, not all slots were used. So feel free to contact them. And we really feel that they could be a really great help if you're getting stuck somewhere in solving a problem. We also read your feedback that you submitted to us in the checkpoint, and thank you so much to all the teams that did submit it, because it really helped us to understand how is it going from your side, and we really encourage you to continue doing so in every single stage. So one thing that a lot of you suggested, that sometimes the WDL mentoring channel is a bit confusing. So we really would like to clarify first we would like to create a new channel and then really clarify what each channel is for. So first we created a new channel which didn't exist. It's WDL Challenge Support. And this is for any questions that you might have to the topic entities. For example, if you see that there is some kind of description missing in the data dictionary, or for example, if you have a question about a certain value, as there was a lot of questions, for example, about the weights in the last in one of the challenges from the last stage. Then we have the WDL help desk, and this is any question about World Data League in general. So imagine that, I don't know, how do I access the submission platform? When are the activities going to happen? I cannot enter AirMeet. So these kind of questions go on WDL help desk. And then finally, you have WDL mentoring, which is any technical questions that you need help with. So is it, how do you visualize certain data? How do you have maybe a question about some state of the art that you found and you cannot really understand a certain paper, for example? This is the place to ask those kind of questions. Another thing that we would like to do is that we saw that many of you asked the same question several times on WDL help desk and mentoring, and then some of you filled in that as a doubt in the checkpoint. So what we want to do is to compile a kind of a document, a living document on Google Drive, where we can put these frequent questions and then share them with you. It's actually not going to be just mid-stage. It's going to be a living document. And we will send it to you every time also on the newsletter to remind that it exists. And finally, one really important thing is that we've updated the rulebook. So the definition of what was the bonus weight for the imbalanced solution was not that well described. So we decided to specify it. So feel free to look at it and see and read it carefully of what is this rule. But basically, it means that if there is any challenge that is not represented by a certain number of solutions, then for the teams that try to solve this challenge, we will give them a small percentage of bonus points. And then just before we really kick into the next challenges, so just a couple of tips and tricks and general reminders. So first, try to be creative with your solutions. I think we already talked about it several times, but sometimes you might not have the most technically advanced solution, but it could be just simple and creative enough that not that many people thought of it, and that's perfectly good and fine, and you might really get good points for that. You can really find the elegance in the simplicity sometimes. Then number two, don't forget to consider the business constraints. So when you're proposing a solution, don't forget to look at, is this actually feasible to be used by a certain topic entity, for example? Then, don't always go for the easy challenge. And that is because maybe you would be able to give a good solution or the same number of points for a bit of a more difficult one. And then it ends up that you also get the bonus point because you're solving a less represented challenge. Then don't forget to work as a team. You can split tasks amongst yourself. Maybe somebody could start writing already the introduction, do some research on a certain topic. Maybe meanwhile, while somebody does a research on a topic, another team member can start do the initial exploration of the data. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Don't forget to explain your decisions. I think this is something very important for the jury, why you're doing something. Look at previous work. There's a lot of state-of-the-art, either in blogs or in scientific papers, and I think that can help you a lot. Don't reinvent the wheel. Then a couple of more that we added. It's that first, that especially from the feedback that we got from the mentors, it's that first, create a basic solution. So again, we just want to focus here that what's so different about World Data League compared to other data competitions is that we are not looking for you to get an improvement of 0.0001% on your metric for your model. We're really looking at as a whole, as a data scientist, of all of your skills. And this means business skills, product skills. Do you understand the problem? Do you understand what could be an interesting solution for the topic entity? Do you, for example, know what are the implications of it? So really try to fill out the template in the beginning with a very simple solution, just to get a feeling for the problem if you understand it well, and then work your way from there. And then one last but not least, and that's clearly obvious also from some of the Discord messages, do not submit your challenges last minute. You never know when you might have a problem with the internet. You never know when there might be some glitch with the submission platform. So the best thing to do is that if we give you a deadline at, for example, let's say it's at 2 GMT plus 1, then consider it as a deadline as 1:30 GMT plus 1, so that there is enough time for you to actually submit it. And I think that's already long enough. I've talked a lot. I hope that this tips really help you and that you keep those in mind in the next stage. If the first stage did not go well for you, don't forget that we are only counting the top 3 out of the 4 submissions. So you still have a lot of ground that you can cover. Okay, now that the logistics are out of the way, now that I think we are ready to get to know what's going to be the next stage. And I think, Ricardo, that's your cue to play the video of the stage. Go ahead.
Okay. So I guess there's no more mystery. Stage 2 is officially announced. As you all saw, the subtopic of stage 2 will be traffic. So now it's time to see in detail what challenges we have in store for you. So first up, we have predicting traffic flow in a city using induction loop sensors. So we're trying to predict traffic flow using sensor data. These sensors are used to detect when cars pass over them. And in the case of the city of Porto, they have been collecting this data from several of the sensors that are placed around the city. The goal here is to extract useful insights from the sensor data and predict the traffic flow in these areas of the city. An outcome could be an explainable model for predicting traffic flow from this sensor data. And as you all know, you can also use external data as well to complement and extract these useful insights regarding the traffic pattern. And the data that you will have will be a time series from several sensor readings in the city of Porto. Second challenge is patterns and predictive modeling of traffic accidents. So we talked about traffic flow, and now we have traffic accidents. I mean, with the growth of the cities, traffic accident becomes an unavoidable reality. So it becomes increasingly important to understand the infrastructural and environmental characteristics of traffic accidents and why do they happen. So the goal here is to understand the causes and anticipate as much as we can traffic accidents without going full Minority Report on society. So the outcome, an explainable predictive model for traffic accidents at street level by period of the day. And for the data, we have a data set, an open data set on traffic accidents. Challenge number 3, this one you were not expecting. Stage 1, we had 2 challenges, but now we have more than 2. So third one is identification of patterns and prediction of irregular parking. So now we're talking about parking because we know that also influences traffic flow of the city. So again, as cities increase, we just have less room in our cities to put our cars in. So this creates many situations where parking infractions occur and they block traffic. And not only do they cause more congestion on the city, they also contribute to the increase in the emissions of CO2. You know, with the good old-fashioned, the brake and stop. Brake and accelerate. That's when you activate your engine more often, usually. So here we're trying to improve parking surveillance to dissuade irregular parking. And we want you to come up with an explainable predictive model of irregular parking at street level and period of the day. And we're working with the data set from Vancouver about traffic infractions. And the last one, Last one is identifying road segments with potential safety hazards. What are safety hazards? Safety hazards are any problem that may occur. So you can also consider a traffic accident as a safety hazard. But in this case, this challenge wants to go beyond traffic accidents. So how do we detect problems that are happening in our roads? And it becomes really important to identify the riskiest road segments so that we can take action on those segments. So here we want to understand which areas of the city of Porto and or Lisbon are riskier. The outcome could be a heat map or an intensity model that considers traffic intensity data, characteristics of roads, and also speed profile. And this heat map should identify the most conflictive areas and segments of roads on these cities. So the data that we have is a road network level link database with information about characteristics, including average speed and the average daily traffic accidents intensity. So, 4 challenges, okay? 4 challenges. You'll have a lot to choose from this time. So before we go to the round table, let me just remind you about where you can find us on the internets. We're on Twitter and LinkedIn. You should use the official hashtag when you make your posts about us, because that's the way that our communication lead, Fabiana, can find you online and give you back some love. So now for the round table. You know the drill already. You can post your questions on AirMeet. You can upvote other people's questions if you want to see them asked live to our panel members. Don't worry too much about the data and the challenges for now. You'll have 2 weeks to pose questions about that on Discord, and we're going to have staff and mentors that are fully dedicated to help you with that. So on this time, we want you to focus more on learning about the problems at hand. And this is very important, as Leon was saying before. We want you to understand what social impact can be created from solving these problems, and also on learning more from people that have years and years of experience in this field. You got to remember that WDL is really not only about fitting the best model, as Leon was saying. We're trying to find a complete all-around data scientist, and that requires fully grasping the problem before even importing a single Python library, okay? So I'll be moderating this roundtable session, which will have Nuno Santos from PSE and Miguel Castroneto from Nova Cidade Urban Analytics, 2 of our challenge and data providers. We're going to go directly to the session, but right now we're just going to take a short commercial break to see the videos of our sponsors. Don't move from your seats. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See ya.